Welcome to the webinar for After-School Snack and Common Findings on an Admin Review. First, I will start this webinar by introducing myself. Thank you for attending today's session on After-School Snack and Common Findings. My name is Abby McFerrin, and I am a Nutrition Program Specialist for DESE. Today, we are going to learn about the After-School Snack program offered and the most common findings that are found during an administrative review. First, I'm going to give a brief description on the After-School Snack program. This program provides reimbursement snacks to children through age 18 who participate in programs organized to provide after-school care. There is an exception to the age of 18. We do realize some children attend school past the age of 18 due to disabilities or learning disabilities. These students are eligible for the After-School Snack program because they are still enrolled or attending school. Second, its purpose is to assist schools in operating an organized after-school program, which provides education or enrichment activities to help reduce or prevent involvement in juvenile crime or other high-risk behaviors. If an LEA has a 50% or greater of enrolled children for free or reduced, then all students receive free snacks, regardless of their eligibility. If sites are not 50% or greater, then the LEA must count meals and claim reimbursement by either free, reduced, or paid, and must have documentation of all meals served for free or reduced. To access this program is very simple. The department provides LEAs with applications in August, and then these applications can be turned in any time during the school year. Also, the LEAs can enroll by building or buildings, meaning if an LEA has 5 buildings, they can enroll all 5 buildings, they can enroll 1, or they can enroll 3. It's whatever the LEA feels that will benefit them the best. In order to participate in the After-School Snack program, a school must participate in the National School Lunch Program, and they must sponsor or operate an after-school care program. In order to operate an after-school care program, there are certain things that must be done or contain. First, it must provide care for children after school. It must have an organized, regularly scheduled activities in a structured and supervised environment. It must include an education or enrichment activity or activities. The LEA can only serve snacks after the bell has rung and at the end of the school day. So if school ends at 3:30 p.m., snacks cannot be served at 3:15 p.m. It must be after the bell. LEAs must keep accurate point of service meal counts to support claims and retain production records. They have to offer at least 2 different components and maintain food safety and civil rights standards. They must also perform 2 on-site reviews and ensure potable water is available. Last, offer versus serve is not available with this program. As we are all aware of school year 1920 threw us for a curveball. So I'd like to take the time and discuss how to participate in the after-school snack program if another school closure should happen. So you'd fill out your SSO application for that school year. On the application, you fill out all the sections like normal. Then you go to the section meal participation and you would check PM snack, the estimated number that you would be serving, and then the time that you would be serving, and then the time that the meal service would end. And then in the section comments for the LEA, make sure to put in comments how and when you're serving your PM snacks. In order for the after-school snack program to keep running while a school is closed unexpectedly due to a disaster, waivers are needed. The first waiver that is needed is the after-school snack program activity waiver. This waiver allows schools to offer a snack without providing an enrichment or educational activity. The second waiver is a non-congruent waiver, which allows schools to offer a snack to be consumed off-site. Even though these snacks are consumed off-site and do not have an activity with them, they still must meet the after-school snack meal pattern. Other regulations may be subject to a waiver depending on the situation. Waived regulations must be approved at USDA National Office. Now I'm going to discuss area versus non-area eligible. First, area eligible is where at least 50% of enrolled children are eligible for free or reduced meals. They are able to receive reimbursement at the free rate for all children, no matter what their eligibility is. A point of service count must be done every day, but you only have to keep track of the reimbursable snacks served. This can be done either by maintaining a daily tally of kids or maintaining a roster by the students' names. For non-area eligible, this is where the sites are less than 50% of enrolled children are eligible for free or reduced meals. The point of service is different than area eligible. For non-area eligible, the LEA must keep track of reimbursable stacks by free, reduced, or paid students, and they claim reimbursement according to eligibility status. The reimbursement rates are followed, and this is still from school year 1920. I do not have the updated for 2021, and I do not know if they are changing for school year 2021. So, as of school year 1920, free is 8 cents, reduced is 47 cents, and paid is 94 cents. This slide goes over the meal components for the after-school snack program. For this program, the LEA must serve two different components. These components are milk, meat or meat alternative, juice, fruit or vegetable, and grain or cereal. For the grains, they must be whole grain. Also, the components must meet the required serving sizes for the different age groups. This slide shows the different meal patterns for the different age groups. It has each component for each age group. As you can see, it has the age groups of 1 to 2 years, 3 to 5 years, and then 6 to 18 years. These next few slides I'm going to go over has to do with the credibility and what's not credible for each component. First, I will go over what is credible for milk. Milk may be served as one of the two components and can be served as a beverage, on cereal, or used for both at a snack. If you use for both as a beverage and on cereal, remember it's still considered one component. Reconstituted dry milk is not credible, and ice cream, yogurt, custard, or pudding may not be substituted for a fluid milk requirement. What is credible for meat alternatives? Meat alternatives must be served as one of two components, may be served as one of two components. Nuts, seeds, and nut butters may fulfill all of the meat alternative requirements. Yogurt may be served as a meat alternative. Remember, 1/4 cup for children 1 to 6 years and 1/2 cup for age group 6 to 18. Natural and pasteurized processed cheese are credible. 1 ounce equals 1 ounce of meat alternative. Cottage cheese, cheese foods, and spreads such as Velveeta or Cheese Whiz are credible, but as twice as much as needed due to these products contain less protein and more moisture than the natural and processed cheeses. So a 2-ounce serving of cheese food, cheese spread, or cottage cheese is only equivalent to 1 ounce of meat alternative. Blashed dry beans or peas are credible. 1/4 of cooked beans is equal to 1 ounce of meat alternative. If serving beans as a meat alternative, you cannot serve it as a fruit and vegetable component. It must be one or the other. Vegetables and fruits may be served as one of two components. Snacks may contain fruit or vegetable, or both, but if served as both, it still is only one component. Juices must be full-strength 100% juice, and 100% juice may be used to meet the total fruit-vegetable requirement. A 1/2 cup for 1 to 6 years of age, and 3/4 cups for 6 to 18 years. When juice is served as one of the components, milk may not be served as the other component. Grains and breads may be served as one of the two components. All grains and breads must be whole grain, or made from whole grain flour or meal. Cereal can be served as a grain, but it too must be whole grain. Popcorn is not a credible grain. Now that you know what is credible, it is time to play a game. And it's real simple. All you have to do is identify if it is credible snack or not. So this snack contains orange juice and milk. Is it compliant? I'll give you a few seconds to think about it. No, even though it's two different components, juice may not be served when milk is served as the only other component. If another component is offered besides milk and juice, then it would be compliant. Okay, this snack contains Teddy Grahams and cereal. Is it a compliant? No, this is not compliant. The reason being it is two of the same components. Both of them are grain components. Okay, here we have Teddy Grahams, juice, and apples. Is this compliant? I'll give you a few seconds to think about it. Yes, this is compliant. Even though it has two of the same components, which is your juice and apples, it still has two different components because you have your fruit, your juice, and then you also have a grain. Okay, the next slide is serving cereal. Is this compliant? This should be an easy one for you. No, this is not compliant. It only contains one component, which is grain. Okay, here we are serving apples, milk, and cereal. Is this compliant? Yes, this is compliant. It has three different components. It has your fruit, it has your milk, and it has its grain. I just want to let you know it is okay to serve more than two different components. You can serve 3 or 4 components if you would like. Okay, game is over, so now I'm going to go back to teaching you some stuff. Now I'm going to talk about production records. This is an example of an after-school production record. Production records must be filled out daily and they must be retained for 3 years plus the current school year. They also must show the meal components, the foods being served, and the portion size. You can find a printable production record on our DESE website. Just like the National School Lunch Program and the School Breakfast Program, the After School Snack Program must also have some type of point of sale or point of service, and it needs to be placed after the students receive their snacks. At the point of service, record each student who received a reimbursable snack after verifying that their snack was compliant. Okay, now that I've discussed what and how the after-school snack program is, I will talk about what us nutrition program specialists are looking for during an administrative review. During the review, we will verify school eligibility. That's whether you're area or non-area eligible. We will ensure accurate counting and claiming system is in place and make sure snacks meet the requirements. And we do this by observation of the program on day review, and we will also review production records for a minimum of days from your review period. We will also confirm that the LEA is monitoring the program at least 2 times a year, with one of them being within the first 4 weeks of the program starting. Last, we will perform a documentation and/or a snack service observation. This is up to the nutrition program specialist whether they want to do a documentation review or both a documentation and a snack observation. Okay, on the left-hand side of this slide is an example of an after-school snack program review form that the LEAs must fill out twice a year. Like I mentioned before, this program must be monitored within the first 4 weeks of operation. The second one can be later on in the school year, as long as the program is still operating. Once again, you can find these forms on the DESE website. I know our website has a lot of information and a lot of different places to go, so this slide I'm telling you exactly where to go to find the after-school snack forms. First, you'll go to the DESE website. Then you'll click on Administrators. Then you will click on Food and Nutrition Services. Once you're on our page, you will go to the right-hand side of it and you'll see a green box labeled Financial and Admin Service. Under the green box, click on USDA Programs and Regulations. Then after that, you will click on After School Snack Program. This is where you'll find the review form, which is called After School Snack Program Review, and also the production records that I had mentioned earlier. There are some common questions that we are asked, so I thought I would answer some of them in this webinar. The first question we get is licensing required for an after-school care program? No, unless there is a state or local requirement. As far as Missouri goes, there is no state requirement. The second question we receive is, may a morning or afternoon snack served in Head Start program be claimed under the National School Lunch Program After School Snack Service? No, Head Start program is not an after-school care program. Okay, third question. May schools that already claim suppers under the CACFP also claim after-school snacks through the National School Lunch Program? The answer is yes, as long as they meet the eligibility criteria for an after-school snack program. The next question we get is, may a school food authority which vends after-school snacks to a private nonprofit sponsor claim those snacks under the National School Lunch Program? No, they can be claimed by the sponsor under CACFP. The last question we receive a lot is there a particular month of school data that must be used for eligibility? Eligibility must be based on the total number of children approved for free and reduced price meals as of the last day of operation for the most current October, or another month at the state agency's discretion. Now that we have gone over some questions, it's now time to get into common findings on an administrative review. I'm going to go over each question that is on the review. First question, 1701 and 1702. Is documentation maintained that the site is located in an area-eligible school in which 50% or more of the enrolled students are certified for eligible for free or reduced price meals? Here we are just making sure that you have the proper documentation that shows you are area eligible and that 50% or more of your students are free or reduced. We are also making sure that you have kept your paperwork for 3 years plus the current school year. Question 1703. Are point of service snack counts by student benefit category maintained? Once again, we'll be making sure you're claiming snacks based on the eligibility status and not claiming all snacks free. 1704A. Are snacks properly counted and claimed? Here we're just making sure that you're counting the snacks and claiming instead of just taking the amount of snacks needed and then report the amount that you use. So basically, we are making sure you're marking down each student if they received a snack. 1705A. If observing snack service, are snack counts by category for the review period reasonable compared to the snack counts for the day of review? On this question, we're checking to make sure the review counts for the review period are not too high or too low compared to the day of review. So we'll look at each day of review period, which is your 5 or 4 day school week, and compare those days to the day of review. If any of those days are too high or too low to the day of review, we will question and ask you to explain why it's too high or too low. 1707A. Has the program been monitored within the first 4 weeks of operation each year? This is the most common finding on the administrative review. As soon as the after-school snack program starts, the LEU must review it within the first 4 weeks. We understand that the first 4 weeks are hectic, especially at the beginning of the school year. However, this must be done. We know LEAs tend to forget about a review for the after-school snack program, and this is why I suggest you set a reminder on your phone or mark it on your calendar. This way it does not get missed. And then remember, a second review must be done once more during the school year while your program is still in operation. Question 1708. Does the snack program conduct an acceptable education or enrichment activity before, during, or after the snack meal service? Here we are just making sure you're conducting an educational or enrichment activity. This cannot be general playtime or general board games. If you are doing playtime or board games, they must be educational or considered enrichment. Question 1709. Are snacks properly prepared, held, served, and stored within proper food safety practices? This we will be checking to make sure whoever's operating the food service program for the after-school snack program is aware and following the food safety guidelines. This includes making sure milk is at the correct temperature and being stored correctly, and the food service staff is wearing gloves, if not packaged food, and/or proper head attire, such as hair nets or hair pulled back, if this is applicable. Question 1710. Is the USDA FNS approved non-discrimination poster prominently displayed and visible to the program participants? This is another question that the LEAs tend to miss. If the after-school snack program is not held in the cafeteria or gym where lunch is served and a non-discrimination sign is already posted, then the LEAs tend to forget. For example, if the after-school snack program is serving snacks in a classroom, then that classroom must have the non-discrimination statement posted. If the LEA serves the snacks in the cafeteria, then moves to the classroom to do their educational activity, then the classroom does not need a non-discrimination sign posted. It is only where the snacks are being served. The last one for the slide is record the number of snacks counted or claimed for reimbursement that were missing meal components from day of review or the review period. For the day of review, if we are observing the service and/or documentation, we will make sure the students are taking 2 or more components, and we will also be making sure they are not the same components. For the review period, we will look over the production records and make sure of the same thing, 2 or more components, and if only serving 2 components, making sure they're not the same 2 components. I have saved question 1706 for its own slide because it has many parts to it. So the first part, review production records for a minimum of 5 days, or if you're a 4-day work school, we'll do 4 days from the review period. A, are production records completed daily and maintained for a minimum of 3 years? When we're on site, we will check the production records for 5 consecutive days or 4 consecutive days from your review period, which is the month before we're on site. And we will make sure, number 1, that you are completing them correctly every day, and that number 2, you have been keeping the production records for the last 3 years plus this current school year. B, do production records list each meal component and reflect the planned portion sizes that meet the meal pattern component requirements? Here we will be looking at the production records, making sure you have each component listed that you served, the portion size, and the portion sizes are correct for each age group. C, does it appear that each snack claim for reimbursement met the 2 component per student requirements? This is pretty self-explanatory. We will make sure you are serving at least 2 components, and if you're only serving 2 components, that they are not the same. I just want to reiterate that you can serve more than 2 components and only 2 of them have to be different. Okay, question 1711. Record the number of snacks counted in or claimed for reimbursement that were missing meal components from 1, day of review, and 2, review period. For the day of review, we'll be checking if the LEA has any missing meal components from the meal service line and the point of service called consolidation errors. While from the review period, we'll be checking if the LEA has any missing meal components from production records and/or any consolidation errors. So once again, we are making sure students are taking at least 2 different components for a reimbursable snack. Now I'm going to discuss fiscal action that can be received from an administrative review. There are 2 ways an LEA can receive first fiscal action. First, if you're serving incomplete snacks, and second is if you're serving to non-eligible participants. Incomplete snacks consist of serving only 1 component, or if you're serving only two components, these two components are the same. Serving to non-eligible consists of anyone over the age of 18, teachers, custodians, parents, and students who do not meet the age requirement. But remember the exception, or any students who do not go to that LEA. So if a brother or sister comes to pick up their sibling and they go to a different school district, then they are not allowed to have a snack. Or if a parent comes in to pick up their child and they have a younger child with them who does not attend school yet, they cannot have a snack. Thank you for joining me today on the After School Snack Program. I hope you find it helpful, and if you have any more questions, please feel free to reach out to me at 573-751-6638 or at abby.mcferrin@desi.mo.gov.